Hello and welcome to Contra Republic Episode 8. I'm joined by former governor. I don't know what the proper thing is.
Former Republican candidate for governor of Ohio.
Okay, yeah. I followed your campaign. I actually offered to interview you right when you started. And tell me, like, how you got into wanting to run for governor of Ohio.
Observation at the world at large, and considering my own values and what I thought was in the best interest of all the people of Ohio, and being very distraught by what I saw happening to America and our social, um, the fabric of the social aspects of America during the Biden years, really started to make me take a closer look at politics and thinking, how can I be something of a positive role model? And, you know, watching everything happening with the last presidential election and seeing Vivek and his so-called rise, and then suddenly being astroturfed in Ohio, that set off all of my interpersonal alarms that something was very, very wrong. And I try to resist it, but I just couldn't take it anymore, and no one was doing anything about it. So um, the way I put it is, my soul was on fire, and I had to run against Vivek.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that a lot. Like, that you had a lot of passion in what you believed in, and people say like, "Oh, he only got 19%." 19% for a guy who's an unknown in politics is amazing. Actually, I think you did amazing for what you were up against.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. I don't even remember when Vivek first started campaigning for president, but I mean, he's been campaigning for what, like 3 years now? Every podcast and news thing in the world, and yeah, that counts. All that leading up to Ohio counts. And he'd been campaigning for the last year in Ohio. I don't know what he spent. $20 million in Ohio alone has been spent
25.
upon his campaign, and then whatever he spent with the presidential race. So we came in 4.5 months ago and raised maybe something like $130,000 and got the better part of 20% of the votes. So that was pretty good. Politics is not a zero sum game. Some people might like to criticize and say, why were you running if you had such a low chance? Well, it's because we had a chance and we needed to offer Ohio a better alternative to the options of Amy Acton with the Democrats and, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy with Republicans. So we gave it our best shot, and that's what we got. So pretty good bang for the buck when you consider the cost per vote.
Yeah, one thing I will criticize you about is the Trump tweet. In my mind, I get why you did it, but like I don't think it was a good move.
The
Yeah,
Epstein file, orange exotic car one.
yeah,
Yeah, did you know why I did that though?
yeah. I get why you did it.
It was to out an op, and it caught Milo Yiannopoulos too. So I understand they'll use that against you, but they'll use anything against you. So no, I understand, but that was not the only one I did. I did, I don't know, one, two, at least three other op things to shine a light on the absurdity of media, or to turn the tables. So I get it, but it was an unconventional war.
Yeah, I mean, something I've been noticing a lot of on the. Oh, I forgot to ask. Can you retweet the stream just so we can get more reach?
Sure.
I've been noticing is that these people said you had no chance of winning and you're going to lose, but they will literally back that one guy running in L.A. for mayor. That guy's no chance in hell in winning at all. They will literally signal boost all these right wing Twitter accounts. This guy, and like, he does not have a chance in hell of becoming mayor of LA.
Yes, I'm not even familiar with what's going on there, but there's a lot of controlled op out there, and there's a lot of absurd things going on. Um, Even in the wake of the um, the primary now being over, there's still just so much absurdities. So, um, welcome to hell that is politics in America.
Hey, I mean, you're older than me, but I remember I remember the anti-war movement being overrun by weirdos. The anti police brutality movement being overrun by weirdos.
Yes.
Like it's like every time there's all these people who try to take over a movement and just hijack it. But one thing I noticed is people said, "Oh well, he was offered things by Trump." Did that actually happen?
No.
Yeah,
No. There
I
was
mean,
nothing.
I didn't.
If I would have been invited to Washington D.C., I would have gone. If there's any opportunity to at least hear places out, I would have heard them out. There simply was none. Um, I don't know what to tell you. There was absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it does seem like a complete absurd lie. I mean, like it seems like every time there's an insurgent candidate, afterwards there's all these people, like I like to call them gossiping hens, who come out of the woodwork and say, well, all these things, and he was being on serious. And I'm like, you people have never been involved in any form of organizational politics.
Yes. You're exactly right. Forgive me, I'm sharing our feed.
Okay.
Yeah. So um, let's see. Maybe I can just share this. Forgive me. Forgive me. Let me try this here. Let's see if yeah, this is better. Sorry. I hope we're not boring people right now. Yeah,
Uh,
the things post hoc after the fact, have surprised me. I guess in a manner of speaking, I wasn't thinking about what is likely to happen afterward because it's over. People are either going to want to talk to you or they're not. Um, so when I saw some people, how do I want to put this? Trying to use a moment in time to craft their own narrative that will suit what they are trying to accomplish, whatever that may be, was a surprise to me. Uh, that's really all I can say. It was a surprise to me.
I mean, I've been around the political scene for I don't know, hard right political whatever you want to call this at this point. But I finally fundamentally think a lot of these people, like I have my own issues, like issues and interpersonal issues, but I think they don't get that. Looking, you're like a really normal, wholesome guy. Like there's nothing weird about you. You don't have any skeletons in your closet,
I'm
and
wearing
they're
a
like,
silly hat.
I think you rock that hat, to be honest.
Thanks, dude. It's
But
a little chilly in here, honestly. But I'm sorry, you were saying.
like you're normal, like on like Nick Fuentes. I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole is he gay or anything. He just his fan base engages in what I would say is very antisocial behavior, and they
Yeah,
don't
that's
get
fair.
like you're a father, you're a normal person, and you're like, I'm a married man with kids, so
Well, and that's something with the campaign too. It was challenging to strike the balance between giving all of your time and ability and focus to the campaign, but not being, and forgive me, being an absolutely revolting father and husband. So it was challenging, of course, to my wife and daughter. Um, but I had at one point to draw a hard line with some things. Um, there's diminishing returns, shall we say? And I also had to remind a few people firmly a couple times. They were like, "We're not going to win if we don't X, Y, and Z." And I've had, we're not going to win if you destroy the candidate and the lieutenant governor candidate. And that's not a cop out. That's just, reality.
yeah. I mean, and like none of these
You,
like
you
so-called
want, you want me to give you an example?
sure.
Early in the campaign, I think it was January. I was scheduled to be at a rally in the evening in Cincinnati. Now I know 3.5 hours a straight drive to Cincinnati from where I'm at. Um, and they had me scheduled all morning long with interviews at home from like 7 a.m. Up until like exactly 4 hours or less before I had to leave to make it on time to the Cincinnati thing. So, by virtue of being in interviews nonstop until that point, I couldn't get anything ready or change. My wife was out of town. There was no one to look after our 3-year-old. So in January, I had to put my 3-year-old in the front seat of a two-seat sports car with summer tires, and change quickly and drive all the way down to Cincinnati. Meanwhile, I have to look after a toddler, um, finding a place for her to go to the bathroom, getting there on time, and it pushes your red line. And then I had to do an entire political rally with this 3-year-old in my left arm, and then a handgun in with one in the chamber and double action on my right hip. So in case I have to defend myself, I can draw with my right arm because my special forces buddies couldn't come to that one. So, no one tells you the stress of the realities of making things happen when doing these things. But mind you, the challenges of a campaign went on for 5 months. So it takes its toll. So, you do have to be mindful of armchair quarterbacks or Monday, what do they call them? Like Monday morning quarterbacks. Um, it's just that it's absurd,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I think the owner of Kiwi Farm said it the best, and he's like, I've talked to Josh back and forth through like emails, but he said it's like,
I'm
look,
not.
we needed
Forgive me. Who is that? Josh
Joshua.
somebody?
He owns Kiwi Farms. It's basically an
Ah,
internet gossip website.
I'm
He's
not.
probably been yeah. Well,
I'm not familiar with it.
you probably are. You're not. You don't want it. It's just it's
Okay.
filled with it's an internet gossip website making fun of psychos on the internet. Mainly, it's probably not something you would be into.
Fair. I frankly don't get as much time for the internet or even watching talking heads and paying attention, especially in the last 6 months. It all of my bandwidth just to keeping track of current events and people and connecting with people. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your story.
Well, yeah, he was correct when he said thank you for running because he
Mm.
like it, it shows that you can beat people like Vivek. You can beat people like I don't think Fishback has a chance in hell, but I'm be honest, like Bolzarian and Fishback, I never was really going to support them because they come off as weirdos.
The only thing I can say about Fishback is, he's doing a good job in terms of getting the attention. I mean, he really is, and they're doing a good job getting on all the media and all that stuff. But speaking as a 44-year-old man, I don't see the genuine element shine through as much as I might like. So, that's something that I think would be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, both these people to me, like, I think it's more of a stunt than actually trying to win. Like, you were actually legitimately trying to become the next governor of Ohio because you're concerned. And I like, especially, like, I liked your take on data centers because I live in an area that's being overbuilt by all of this stuff that's destroying our roads, all these, like, warehouses. And I live in a very rural part of PA, and, like, we don't
Mhm.
have the infrastructure for this. And every time we go to town council meetings, we just get shouted down by these people who clearly have taken, in my opinion, taken a bribe.
You never know. I mean, there's a lot of NDA forms I find associated with public officials with regard to data centers coming in for a reason. I think they knew how to slip them in under the cover of night and take advantage of us and make things happen before we could do anything about it. So yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah, another thing I noticed about people attacking you, like you're basically after your campaign end, you're basically getting it from all sides, from like the Nick Fuentes types to like Matt Forney, who I do actually like his writing, but like
Yeah, I
everyone,
was surprised by that, but you know,
yeah, I just find really very interesting, very very interesting.
well, I do have a theory. Nick, of course, was aware of me running, and based upon what Nick seems to have championed for so many years, Christian conservative values, right wing, white nationalism, all that jazz, and of course the things that he speaks openly, that he's openly critical of. And before I announced, he was all in on destroying Vivek. Uh, and so I announced, and so by virtue of that, people on the internet are like, "That's the guy," um, and he was aware of it. Never reached out, never did anything. There was no connection. And 4 days before the primary, uh, somebody showed me a clip, and Nick had said that Casey Putsch is a low chance, of course. He seems like an okay guy or whatever. But what did he say? It was I don't. He said Nick said I don't even think he made the ballot. I don't even think he registered at the time. So what are we even doing here? Which I didn't like because Nick's entire career is being switched on to politics, and I find it incredibly hard to believe he doesn't know I'm on the ballot, especially when I've been doing things getting millions of views with regard to that. So, um, regardless of whether he knew or didn't know is irrelevant, but I did quote tweet that and wrote, I'm literally on the Republican ballot. He knows that. Vote Putsch by May 5th, save Ohio. So he tried to, come back in his way. He does, and his fan base didn't like it, and he got ratioed and beat on the views, and probably 2/3 of everybody that commented on it were hitting back toward Nick, and that I think that was the moment that really caused a huge rift and divide, and started a bit of a war. And I think that because of that, Nick has to save face for, of course, going against Vivek to push what is in fact a woman Democrat who's Jewish, which is not seemingly anything that Nick would have been in favor of in the past. So I think there's been people out there that just want to try to discredit me or make me look stupid. So by virtue, Nick looks better, which is just unnecessary because, guys, the primary election is in fact over.
Yeah, I find it interesting that all these people, like, if you would have just done this and done this, and then like people like Matt Forney's like Forney and all the other people on the distant right, like they will back these like the guy running in LA. That guy's not going to win. You had a chance winning, and like none of these people would give you the time of day.
No, they wouldn't. A lot of podcasters wouldn't. Some, I won't name names, but a couple of prominent ones reached out to me to do something and then just ghosted. And I thought that was very strange, very strange. And I'll say it for this reason. It's not my. I've been doing automotive YouTube for a long time. Generally speaking, the things I go on to do well. I even did Tucker Carlson's show over a year ago, before I was ever thinking of politics, just because of the 100-mile-a-gallon car I did. So it was strange to me when I'm running for governor against a very prominent figure, and I've done things of interest in the past, and in a person who can, at least be somewhat interesting and watchable. People would be interested then ghost. So I really started to get some suspicions of controlled opposition and stand down orders out there in the world. I don't think everything happening was organic. And I think that the establishment, however encompassing that is, beyond just the GOP in Ohio, was very adamant about making sure that I didn't have a voice, that no one would say my name. They wouldn't let me on things. And frankly, they also didn't attack me, which is nice. And frankly, if they had, it would have gotten big. But that's something I did notice. So seeing some of this ankle biter stuff after the primary, it's just it's just kind of lame.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of these people like to they love praising Adolf Hitler. It's like these people would be kicked. I'm gonna be honest. Most of the people would be kicked out of the Nazi party for being spogues and weirdos. Like,
well, I don't know about that, but
well,
maybe so.
no, like they like to go, well, it's like you do realize that it took from 1931 to 1933 for him to gain power. Like I'm saying use this as a comparison that these people think like, oh, you lost an election, it's all over, all hope is lost. I'm like, no, it's not.
No,
I mean, it took what's his name? Another guy who ran for office, Brandon Herrera, 2 times.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, the thing that shoot him in the last time was the other person dropped out because there was there something about an affair or somebody committed
his
suicide?
mistress set herself on fire.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty horrific. That's pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a thing, and it's funny that people like. Let me give an example. Vivek ran for president. He's a billionaire. Okay, what did he get? 2% of the vote. He couldn't even beat Chris. Chris became Christie. And drops out. So
Look,
like you getting on my case, being a
I'll be
normie and only
honest.
getting like 18%.
I'll be honest. Chris Christie basically did just like basically elbow dropped him. He's like, we have this total amateur with a weird last name. What he basically said, don't vote for
Yeah,
this guy. He's Indian.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that. No, it's just that's just the reality of it's human nature. Everybody has the ability to have something of a voice because of social media. Obviously, there's organic people, there's controlled op, there's bad faith actors, everything in the world out there, um, and it just is what it is. But and I have no idea if I'll ever run for something again. I just know that my soul is on fire and I had to do this. And I think from what I've seen from people, it has in fact inspired people to pay more attention to politics, to potentially run for political office. And I think that's a good thing. I just hope there are people with values that have done things in the real world that bring that to the table rather than people that only look to politics as a career aspiration. Because I don't think anybody should be looking at political office as a career or an aspiration. I think it should be part of your civic duty, after you've gone out and done something with your life.
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't realize that you are a very successful engineer. You are a successful YouTuber. Like you don't really need this. And
No, it's terrible.
yeah, and I think people don't realize that a lot of these political commentators
Yeah.
ultimately, like I'm an engineering student, so
Oh, nice. Okay. Mechanical, electrical. What are you? Chemical.
haven't decided yet. I'm still in the first
Okay,
year, so
that's fine.
I just finished. I did a lot of my
Mhm.
my required humanities this year, and I hated all of them. I nearly failed a few classes for saying not too polite things about Muslims in essays, and let's just say,
Well, you went to a university, and they're all very liberal, I think.
yeah, I mean, like except like the math classes because you can't politicize math. There's always only one right answer.
Yeah, that's true. Um, we can leave it at that. But if it makes you feel any better, back in, oh gosh, it might have been 2003 when I was in college. I don't know if it was some geography class or something, and I ended up writing. I remember writing a paper on like the diamond trade or something. And in some class, the teacher asked, like, "What would you consider to be the most American Americans, or like the most pure or true Americans?" And I go, "Anybody descended from the English settlers that came here originally?" Pretty simple answer. And she's like, "Does anybody agree with that?" No one except like one Chinese dude in the back raised his hand and agreed. And then she proceeded to berate us at how anybody's an American in the same light that Vivek Ramaswamy does. It was such BS.
I,
But it's neither here nor there.
I mean, base Chinese guy.
Yeah, base Chinese dude in 2003. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think the issue is like they see you like, oh, he's already successful, and like most of these people, I'm gonna be honest about some of these political commentators. Without political commentator, they're losers. In the words of Donald Trump, they're losers, very nasty people.
Well, it's in the word of oh, what was it? Judge Smales in Caddyshack. Well, the world needs ditch diggers too. No, yeah, I mean, political commentators are what they are, uh, and I started doing political related videos on my YouTube channel just because I couldn't take it anymore. And I've thought about it. Do I want to be a social media figure that talks about politics and society at large? And I got to be honest, man, I can't do that very long because eventually I've said everything I need to say. And stop talking. It's time for action. I'm not a person that can just talk about things indefinitely. You have to do something. And I did something. So I don't, I know right now I do need a little bit of a break to kind of rebuild my life. Literally, I do have
Oh,
to work for a living. I'm not independently wealthy. So uh, I probably will be taking a bit of a break from social media and such, and just kind of figuring it out while our second little kiddo comes.
Well, yeah, you just had a kid, and
Well, we're about to.
oh, and that's a big thing. And another thing I like about you, Casey, is you're as I said earlier, you're normal. Like, but a lot of people who attack you. I'm sorry, but I'm not taking criticism of you from a bunch of childless, unmarried, sussy, in the words of the kids these days, sussy men in their 40s, unmarried, who live alone.
Or even if they're that old, I mean, who knows? Y- you know, I'm not going to hold it against anybody that hasn't been able to find, a lasting relationship or have children, but it does mean something, and you do gain a lot more life perspective, and you do have to be grounded in ways that when you're single, you don't have to be, and you have to think of other people more so. So that does provide. At the very least, more perspective to people. And I'll make note, and perhaps I'm wrong at this, but I don't think so. I believe either the SR-71 Blackbird or the U-2 spy plane, or maybe both, the people chosen to fly those as pilots and navigators, one of the requirements were that at the very least, I think they were married and or had children. And my guess is because it wasn't a fighter pilot mentality. They wanted people who would get the aircraft home safely. So, in that sense, if you take it from the Air Force and top brass in terms of psychology, I I, I would value the the opinions and ramblings, perhaps, of others when they perhaps value society in the future a little more.
Yeah, I mean, these people seem to have this real short-sighted vision where if they don't get instant gratification, and I had a lot of that when in my early 20s, and I'm 29 now, and looking back, that was all very, it was very dumb, and it pushed me down a lot of dark places.
I see. Well, it's a challenge. So many things in my life. Maybe there you have hundreds of hours of work or thousands of hours of work before you see a return. Um, and even now, just in normal life, I kind of tell myself, okay, we're going to finish some projects. We're going to finish rebuilding these carburetors, and I'm going to take pride and enjoy getting a job done and satisfaction of getting it done. And I don't think that's something that's well promoted in America anymore. But it is a very constructive thing, and it is a very good thing. So I would I would urge people to step away from the computer as much as possible, and have goals and work to achieve something. Um, you may fail, but that's okay. You're going to figure it out, and you're going to keep going. You're going to succeed, and I think that is very important ambition for people to have. Frankly, to have a better life.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of things over the years that have failed, but while doing those things, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about people. When I used to design tabletop games, I learned a lot about people and not to trust Canadians or furries. That's just a personal joke. But
Fine, fair. I don't want to stereotype different countries, but
well, my co-host who's not here, he's Canadian, and
okay.
so
One of the stereotypes way back when between the British and Germans, I found to not be accurate. I personally find German people a lot funnier than the English and more pleasant to hang out with. It's neither here nor there. Just one of my old stereotypes
I will say
learned or broke against back when.
I will say as an engineering student, as someone who's encountered like a few German engineering students, the over engineering that is a thing they do like to do that.
Yeah, I mean they there are stereotypes that are true, but I don't know. I like the Germans. I was always the stereotype was all that they're not funny. I think they're hilarious. Anyway.
Yeah, they are funny. But one of the things I do find interesting when we're talking about talking. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second.
You're
We're
fine.
talking about politics in general. Is that people don't realize like the like when you fail at the right, people are really, we already covered like vicious, but like they're vicious towards like a married man with kids, and these are supposedly like conservative Christians, and they act in this like
Yeah.
very like unchristian vicious man. I have some people in my church who, in my opinion, I'm not gonna I shouldn't be cast aspersion, but act in a very unchristian manner. It's like, do you really believe in any of this stuff, or is this just
Well,
stuff? Okay.
you're right. And if we're going to call a spade, it's a smaller segment of Nick Fuente's viewers. I personally categorize Nick's viewers into America Firsters and Groypers. And yeah, the latter felt it necessary um, to kick the guy that Nick supposedly would have wanted to support all these years. It's very strange, very strange. I don't fully understand all the relationships there or how or why they do what they
The,
do,
the,
but
the, the,
it's a thing.
it's all, in my opinion, just people who have nothing else going on in their lives. They're not married. They have nothing. They spend too much time on the internet. I mean, I'm guilty of this, but outside of the internet, like Casey, if you met me, if you ever went to PA, I'm probably more normal in real life than I am on the internet, to be honest.
Fine, fair, yeah, yeah. I would just encourage those people to. I don't
Get a
know.
hobby.
Something. It is very strange and wrong. It's like, hey guys, so you all hate Vivek. So a white guy with a family who's a Christian who actually loves the country, that's worked hard to help young people get jobs for over a decade. Uh, you're going to be terrible to now because he only raised $130,000 and in 4.5 months wasn't able to beat a multi-billionaire backed by the entirety of the White House, the GOP, all of the media who's been running for
And the
3
vice
years.
president.
Yeah, and you're going to be a super dick. You're just kind of hating on yourself in that circumstance. It's sad. It's sad. And honestly, I bet you a lot of those young people one day will go like, "Wow,
Yeah,
I was a dick." But
yeah. I mean,
it is what it is.
looking back on like my younger years, I realized that I let people take advantage of me, and I was unnecessarily cruel to people that
Hmm.
didn't deserve it.
That happens, especially when you're young. I mean, it's like, I don't know, Mean Girls in high school or something, right? It happens. It happens. It was a
But
bit of a surprise, but it's
I'm
life.
like the worst people who are being the biggest dicks to you are like, I don't like JD Vance, to be honest. I fucking hate the
I don't
guy.
either.
He's a freaking weirdo. But like his dick riders are like they really hate you for some reason.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they really
Are
really like.
are the so-called fanboys you're speaking of? Are they the young people or
Well,
I
no,
haven't?
the Howling Mutants, the
Oh,
yeah, like uh whatever his name with the for that one Canadian guy. Yeah.
I mean, they're Trumpers in a sense. They like him, but JD Vance was a leftist before he decided to come to the Republican side so he can get groomed up that way. He was a Silicon Valley leftist. Trump used to be a Democrat. Heck, I think his own kids couldn't even vote for him in the primary because they were Democrats. So, you can be as mean to me all you want, but like,
What?
what Kool-Aid
No,
have
no,
you been
they were like
drinking?
viciously attacking you because you're like you need to listen to us. I'm like, you people just seem
Why?
like to
You
try.
don't even go by your real name online.
I
Why should I listen no offense, but like, I understand why some people are anonymous, but like, if you're, you know,
I mean, I get why my co-host is anonymous. If he said like what he says in,
fair,
he'd
I
be
understand.
arrested.
Yeah, yeah. But at the
Which
same time, too, like, come say it to me to my face, man. You got the guts.
they won't. They won't. These
Uh,
people.
I had one guy do that. I don't know if you saw it at a rally. He that guy got roasted. I almost feel bad for him. I don't know who he was, but he was on Liberal Hive Mind. They tore him up, and then I don't know. He probably got viewed 1.5 million times, just being ridiculous to me. But it's just part of life, man. That's the internet. That's people.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed like none of these. It's like I was like, these people spend like all day on Twitter. It's like, do you people have like a life, like outside of Twitter or like just political commentary? Like,
Hard to
I
say.
know that we make fun of the left for saying everything is political, but like, I have like people like I imagine these people like have no. I'm saying you're weird if you don't have left wing friends. I have center left friends. I don't have far left friends. I
Hmm.
stopped
Hmm.
talking to those people. But like these
Yeah, far
people,
left's a little nutty.
yeah, they're crazy. But these
Although
people,
I did hear somebody tell me once that was pretty left. They go, if you go far enough left, you get your guns back. And I laughed at that. I didn't think about it too much, but it probably
yeah.
scare me. But I thought that was funny anyway.
Well, the point is like these. I don't think these people like have lives outside of screaming about politics 24/7.
Hard to say. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah,
You know.
get a hobby like
Well,
this. Get a
eh,
hobby.
the other thing I have to point out that maybe affects some of the people you're speaking of, for as much as they scream about boomers, being addicted to like Fox News and propagandized by that, they are a different generation that is equally propagandized by something else. So, it is important to self-reflect always.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I spent a lot of time around those circles, and I realized until I found God, I was like, I was miserable.
Mhm.
Like I spent like all day glued to my computer posting random things about like just random political nonsense that I had no understanding of to begin with.
I see. Well, yeah, that's a challenging thing. I do remember when I was in college, and that's been a minute, of course. That's when people would really get into, RPG games. They were newer back then. And people would just dump in just so many hours of their lives into it. And there were a couple I liked for a little while when I was in college, but I just couldn't do it after a while because, at the end of the day, you had literally nothing to show for your life. You didn't do anything, you didn't accomplish anything, and I think you're healthier for it. You didn't meet any new friends. Um, and I just couldn't play video games or computer games anymore. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I mean,
So
as someone who has a RuneScape account, has 99 and everything, I feel personally attacked.
sorry. That's just that was my life path.
Yeah, I get it. Like
Well, I
I
don't,
still
and
I still
everybody's
play
different.
like D&D a lot, but that's a lot more social.
Well, that's more real world. That's totally different. I think. Well, and to be fair, also games now you've headsets and you can be talking to people. So it was different. Keep in mind, this is like 25 years ago, man. Um,
Oh,
I
back when you shit talk people over text chat. I remember
Yeah,
that.
dude. I was playing Half-Life on my computer with a tube monitor. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh,
um, so yeah, but I just I'm a person who enjoys doing things with their hands. I frankly I enjoy mowing the grass. Make fun of me all you want.
yeah, and I don't think a lot of these people get that. As someone who is a carpenter, these people don't get the concept that I've built buildings that like they're like that is going to be standing there.
Hmm?
Like one of the things carpenters, if you ever meet a carpenter when you're driving around, it's like I built that, I built that, I built that.
Cool.
Like we all love to do it. Like see this entire development, built it.
Yeah.
Because like you can see the physical manifestation of your work every day. It's like, okay, now we're at the next floor, now we're at the next floor, now we're putting on the sheathing, now we're doing the final touches. And this is something that people are going to use.
Yeah. Yeah. You're exactly right. I get a lot of personal enjoyment from that kind of thing too. Making things work. But no, that is a trying time, a trying thing for people that are on the internet quite a lot. And also, I think if people in general lose real world grounding with whatever media they engage with, they're more readily programmable or influenceable. So I just think everybody in life needs a balance.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have lost sight of just what it means to be human, and like people are like everyone is guilty of this to an extent, like overly stimulated, like just sit down and quietly like read a book or
Yep.
watch a movie with family or like every time I'm like I could play video games with my friends invite me out. I always enjoy it like I always enjoy it more when I go out with friends because that experience is not replicatable. You can play the same level 100 times.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was yesterday or whatnot, but it was a very pretty day. It was cool. Maybe it was, I don't know, 60 degrees out, sunny. The trees are getting fresh leaves, so they're that kind of special, happy kind of green, And I was just cleaning my garage, and I didn't even put any music on. I just enjoyed the sound of the wind and just cleaning up the garage.
I mean, the only thing I had to do today was I would talk to you last night, but I had to I had to go to the doctor with the cancer doctor, and they
Hmm.
said you don't have cancer. I was like, well, thanks for making me freak out for the week.
I understand. Well, I'm glad you don't. But yeah.
Uh,
What else would you like to talk about?
oh yeah, I I really want to pivot into like you helping young engineers because I find that
Hmm.
very interesting.
It's kind of you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Genius Garage. I didn't like my college education. I really didn't. We had no good guidance. I don't think my degree was that valuable. Um, I didn't know what to do after college. I came close to getting a job with a tire company. Um, and frankly, afterward, I went back and helped with the family business for a number of years. But I knew what I was capable of. I knew what my peers were capable of. And years later, after I'd fought to build a small business and restoring high-end cars and working on vintage road racing cars for some nice clients and stuff, I had been helping some engineering students at Ohio State at Center for Automotive Research with regard to fabrication on their electric racing motorcycle. And I just saw what engineers were missing. And I thought, if I was going to be involved with cars and airplanes in a way anyway, I should just do it in a way that matters. And that was the idea that bore the Genius Garage, because I saw what was missing from college and I knew what industry needed. I wasn't getting. Um, and I guess I just, a person can have all the nicest toys in the world, but if you don't have anybody to share it with, or you're not doing anything for the future, it's pretty hollow. You know what I mean? Like you can only play so much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a friend of mine, he owns a lot of guns, and he's like, you
Mhm.
know what? Before I had friends, I didn't do anything. He's just sat in a safe, and now we go out shooting like every other week.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, I guess it was similar in that regard. And I had the concept to do Genius Garage and the curriculum that would work and the structure that would work to ultimately let these young people grow and get something on their resume that put it at the top of the pile and ultimately get them jobs. And I remember I'd meeting with a number of people, a few wealthy people, a guy that's later became a CEO of a major car company's entire testing facility. Um, and they all liked it, but nobody ponied up. And there was a very notable name in, I'll just say Ohio, that was going to put in some funds and didn't. And so, after I don't remember a certain amount of time, it was just me and a couple of guys I worked with that liked it, but they weren't really putting the effort in. And I just thought this is too good of an idea not to do. It really needs to happen. So I just went ahead and did it. Donate all my time, put my own money into it. And that was frankly insane for me to do at that age, um, in terms of where I was in life. But I guess I had the time. Um, and I just gave my best shot the first year, and it worked. It was a good curriculum. I remember one young man, he got hired to Tesla actually out in Palo Alto because of it. So it worked. Um, and then for the next year, I wasn't going to do it again because it about broke me. Just time, money, everything. Like, there's just no way I could do that again. Um, and then I ended up meeting someone who made a relatively small donation. It was funny. I was all excited because I thought people cared and were into the idea, but it was mostly just enough rope to hang myself with. So I kept at it. And, basically what happened over the years was, it was always kind of like, when you like have a dream, like you're running to try to catch something, you're always stumbling and you can never quite get it. That was kind of like 10 years of me with the nonprofit. Um, it always worked. It always got them great jobs. It was always meaningful. Um, it was brutal, and I refused to give up. Um, and I always thought we were always so close to getting things done. At one point, I was even talking to Zach Brown, who's the CEO of McLaren Formula One. I met him a few times. Nice guy. He liked it. Um, and I won't say anything negative, but it ended up getting lost with some other people within the organization that didn't have the same priorities Zach did. But it was nice because it was a plug and play effort that would have plugged in really nicely with McLaren's headquarters in Indianapolis with their heritage cars and whatnot, and bringing in just a really good talent pool to them. I would have liked that to have worked, but it didn't. And there were many others. And that's one of those things in life we hit it on. You have to try, and you're gonna fail. Things aren't gonna work. You're gonna spend exorbitant amounts of time in your life trying to make things work, and have them not. And with regard to Genius Garage, I don't know. I've probably mentored 100 or so students, um, and just a lot of great jobs. Got Chrysler, Tesla, Lockheed Martin, Marathon, a whole host of startup companies, some motorsports related, some fabrication ones, restoration, things on the West Coast, all kinds of great jobs. Um, but, truth be told, our entire American educational system is broken. They're not entrepreneurial at all. They don't want to grow. They don't want to fix themselves. They're risk averse. It's screwed. I'll be honest. And you know, CEOs from Fortune 500 companies and stuff would get interested, but then they would just want to completely mutate it only to themselves. Now, I understand if you're contributing to it, you're going to get the first dibs on the talent pool, but then it would be obvious that they were 100% trying to take advantage of the nonprofit, the students, and myself. Um, and that just doesn't fly. So sadly, those 10 years taught me that I had far more philanthropic drive to make things better for society than most of society. It is a good program. It did work. It did change a lot of lives for the better. But I've come to a point where I've just realized that after flipping over every stone in the world, I'm just going to have to support it myself. So it's really time for me to bear down with business, make some money. And it's just going to be my philanthropic hobby, which will be directly proportional to however much monetary success I find in life. So I'm not going to stop. I still care. I just I don't want it to get mutated into something that's for the wrong reasons. Um, I just I still care, but when we're younger, I think we have idealistic thoughts on society and how things work, and that good ideas prevail and merit matters, and, and many positive things about how we think society works, and psychology of both individuals and masses work. Um, but if you do enough good things, you learn how the sausage is made in many ways. So yeah, it's meant a lot. It's been great. A lot of good memories, a lot of great jobs. But alas, um, I wasn't able to find a way to plug it into something that's self-sustaining.
Yeah, I mean, I was disil. I mean, to be fair, Casey, I took when I worked in the trade directly in the trades. I was very clearly disillusioned very quickly of people's like, if you work really hard, you get promoted. It's like, nah, if you kiss the boss's ass, you get promoted.
You need to be useful too, but working hard doesn't necessarily do it. Typically, people that just work really hard end up getting so much more responsibility shoved upon them by others that are more clever at gaming others. So work hard, work smart, but know your value and have your boundaries. Um, and that'll probably serve you best.
Yeah, and what you did with Genius Garage, I think that's really helpful, especially with it being really hard to find engineering jobs for people out of college, especially with the H-1B visa scam artists
Oh
like
my God,
Vivek.
yeah.
And as an engineering student, like I'm concerned. Like people, like my dad is like, that's gonna be taken over by AI. It's like, no, it's not.
Well, I had a student, uh, one of the more recent ones I helped get a job. Um, he was probably, frankly, the best student I ever had. Um, Driven, personable, initiative on his own, just all the great qualities. And he had graduated um, mechanical engineering, excellent. And he was down, I think around Huntsville, around where there's a bunch of, excuse me, defense and aerospace and things like that, military contracting, and could not get a job. There's just no hiring anywhere for engineers. This was like, I think, right after Trump gets in and they're doging and freezing everything. And he was working as a manager at Aldi's restaurant. Absolute probably the top engineering student I ever had. Which he's doing a good job at Aldi. He's got a job. He's being part of his community, but it is a waste. Um, and fortunately, I had a viewer of my automotive YouTube channel. I don't even know how I got connected with them, that worked at Lockheed Martin. And I mentioned it to him. I said, "Hey, like, of any jobs?" Or he told me, he's like, "Yeah, there's jobs posted internally that aren't posted publicly." I said, "This is the best student I ever had. May I give you his resume to just take a peek at?" And maybe you guys can connect if you see it, because he should not be employed. And so, long story short, he ended up getting 2 interviews, and the first one he went to there, they said, when he left, they said, even if we like somebody, it usually takes up to 2 weeks for HR to get back to him. And literally the next day in his inbox, he had a job offer. So that was a nice story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's really a horrible thing that these internal things, and we were just basically getting these, frankly, incompetent Indians with most of the time. And I
Well,
have a
there's a lot
feeling
of
like,
scamming going on with their
oh,
certifications and
oh,
such.
absolutely, like
They're
two
gaming the system 100%. Absolutely
like
100%. It's absolutely
like
terrible.
like the person who first brought me on to like how incompetent Indians were was my friend who lost his job recently. The computer, like if you know anybody, okay, so I'm not asking you, but if you know anybody who needs a computer programmer, I know a guy.
Okay, fair. I don't
But
right now, but maybe I will.
okay, but he was like we were just like talking. He's like, yeah, I really dislike Indians, and I was like, that's a weird topic to bring up. Well, I was always very open about being very right wing, and but he's like, and he just told me about like how stupid these people are, and like how the code just like breaks things constantly that he has to fix.
Well, even the best ones are coming from a dissimilar culture.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah, they you know, I mean, to be fair, you probably did make Vivek by spending all that money lose a large amount of his art by having to even consider that he might lose.
well, it's funny but not funny. You see, the entire amount of money that we spent on my campaign and our effort is the same amount of money, unless I'm mistaken, that Vivek spends in 1 month on polling. Do you know how absurd that is? Like, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I find it funny that the viewers went down from like 15 people watching this live to like 6 when we started talking about like non hyperbolic things.
Oh, that'll happen.
Yeah, I've come to
I
the
don't know what
conclusion.
people want, but they probably want some absurd thing.
Yeah,
Now that the race is over, I'm being a lot more chill, because I'm not trying to be like bang
I
bang bang
mean,
bang bang bang
you
bang.
seem like someone who's pretty chill most of the time. You come off as like a guy who's pretty chill most of the time. You remind me a lot of my friend who's a computer and software engineer. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I get uptight, if it's stress or we're going racing or behind the curve. I mean, like, let's go. But yeah, I mean, I can certainly handle pressure.
I mean, as an engineer, you should be able to handle pressure.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
for any,
man. What no, what else you want to talk about?
I mean, we can go into like I was talking about engineering and the what do you see like in the future of like the path forward for American like who aren't like connected engineering students? Like what do you think is a good path forward for those people to even that there's work being done on the H-1B visa and the op program to an extent, but there needs to be like what do you think is the path forward for them to find good long-term job prospects?
I think mechanical engineering is always good. I think especially mechanical engineering, you got a little more protection from the H-1Bs because they don't know one end of a screwdriver for another, and that still matters. I would say for young engineering students, especially if you are an ME, if you can't work on a car and like change a clutch and something, and you don't know one end of a screwdriver from another, and you can't fabricate, I'm telling you right now, from over a decade of experience in getting young people jobs, you're going to be SOL because even big Fortune 500 companies that are hiring engineers, they want people that work with their hands, that know stuff, that have a seat of the pants feel and can fabricate. And it does like whether you build radio control airplanes from scratch or do rocketry or build cafe racer motorcycles, or you got like a 80s car and you can replace the clutch and you pulled the engine and did all that stuff. You need to be able to do stuff with your own two hands and show that initiative on your resume. So I would say that because the Indians aren't going to have that. The other thing is, don't forget the trades, man. Like the 4-year degree does. I mean, you need it for some jobs, but you don't need it to become wealthy. You don't need it to start a business. Um, so learning things, learning machining, hand machining, obviously CNC machining, SolidWorks, various CAD programs, but also learn how to weld. Get yourself a used MIG welder that plugs into 110 gas or gasless. Make your own exhaust system. Do these things because that's where you're going to find a lot of jobs. Um, Small towns, big towns, whatever. There's a lot of things that'll be fabrication and trades because America started looking down upon the trades and going away from it really in the 1980s, pushing college prep. And because of that, we've lost so many tradesmen. And there genuinely are a lot of jobs, especially if you can be a good mechanic. But then you just have to give some good business sense, and specializing in something, make it repeatable, make sure there's a profit margin, understand the value of your time, don't give it away. Things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time that when I was a younger tradesman. And now people offer me 900 to like 80,000, 100 to 180,000 as a project manager.
Wow,
And
that's very impressive. That's very impressive. Nobody's offering me that. You should feel honored. That's good for you.
well, yeah, I mean, I always make the joke it's like, so what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I'm a professional Mexican wrangler.
Yeah, that is funny actually. That's garage humor right there.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing I'll say about the trades. I mean, I think there's issues like people should. I am of the opinion that if you don't know what you want to go to college for, first like go get an engine, go get an electrician certification, because even if you decide to go back to college, understanding how to wire up a panel box will make you a 10 times better engineer. Like when when I look take my engineering course that I'm looking at the problems, I'm like, okay, I've dealt with this in carpentry, I've dealt with this in stonemasonry. We just moved this over here, and it works out a lot better. I also like building catapults. Yeah. That's my hobby.
Trebuchets?
I built both. Torsion are really hard to build, honestly. Like the torsion ones, like the springs are just very, very, like if you're doing an actual torsion spring, like doing the ball is really, really annoying. I've come to the conclusion that it's just much easier to use. Like if you're doing the traditional, like where it's using it like a spring, like where it's the bound up rope, that takes forever. Yes. I now just use just regular like automotive springs actually work really well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I enjoy projects like that. I think the last and I mean this nicely, kooky project I did was back when I was trying to teach some students in 2018. I built that full-scale flying pterosaur model with a 38-foot wingspan. Um, I like zany projects, you know, it's fun.
Do you still have the 36-foot tail?
Yeah, it hangs from the ceiling in the shop. We tethered it to the turbo diesel truck and flew it just in ground effect. That was a lot of fun. So it's a rather large model airplane hanging from the ceiling, so to speak.
Yeah, see, that's the whole the fun thing about going into the engineering field is you get like engineers. We do love to well, I'm not an engineer yet, but we do like to build random nonsense for no other reason that it's enjoyable.
Yeah, you get an itch you want to tickle. You know, tickle the brain. You get a problem, something that inspires you, and you just got to do it.
Yeah, like the guy who on YouTube, the engineer who built the automatic knife throwing gun. I'm like completely pointless. This guy built. Yeah, it's
Please excuse me for yawning. I'm sorry. I'm just actually relaxed. I've been stressed for 6 months. So forgive me for yawning.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure running for political office, everyone in the world is attacking you over every little thing. It is probably the worst thing you can ever do.
The behind the scenes stuff is challenging, because you get some really great people that are loyal and smart and funny and awesome. And you get people that have good intentions, but maybe can't follow through. You have people that maybe can't handle the pressure. They find pressure. And frankly, we had some plants. We had some characters. Suddenly 2 days before the ballot or the signature petitions are due, at least 500 of them went missing. So, 6 hours of phone calls and you find out, you kind of narrow it down to where they went. And you don't know. Did the people just not care? Were they jerks or were they plants to try to sink you? So there were things like that. It's true. And that's, I don't think that is reflective of a bad campaign. It's only reflective of politics. And in that sense, and I'm not saying this is like a participation prize, but the general public has no idea the challenges one face of building a team to do these things and orchestrate it to literally just get on the ballot, let alone make it all the way through.
Look, I'm an Eagle Scout, and I've been part of a lot of those organizations that have elected positions. Even
Yes.
like those tiny elections, like the amount of like just underhanded backstabbing for people so they can just like these people very grubby, like to just cling on to this tiny a bit of power. I mean, Kaczynski isn't wrong with what he talks about. Like, honestly, I'm not saying that you should start bombing people, but he's completely right in the Unabomber's manifesto how people act.
Oh, that's the Unabomber. That's who you're
Yeah.
speaking of. Okay, I was like, Kaczynski. Was this a Russian philosopher? Who are we talking about?
I mean, sort of, technically.
Maybe, yeah, I guess. No, it's just the challenges of politics and human nature. So it was a heck of an experience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've noticed like a lot of the engineers I've dealt with over the years as a carpenter who clearly have never actually understood like how a building goes together would tell me some of the dumbest things. Like, so can you put like this window trim in here? Like, it's like, no, that compromises the structural integrity. It's like, you're the engineer, dude. And I'm like pointing at his engineering drawings. This is a load bearing wall. It's like, but can you put like a door that's a window? It's like, no.
Like, bruh, no. Can you just stop saying dumb things?
I mean,
yeah, right?
The worst is architects. I mean, you know what? All the engineers and blue collar guys need to get together and hang all of the architects. They are glorified art students at best. They're all glorified art students.
You're not wrong. Industrial designers are the same way. I remember being in a product design class and we're drawing, and I was kind of fed up in the class with this. I'm just going to use direct garage talk. The students were idiots. They had no idea how to build anything, how anything worked. And the teacher was barely any better. And I drew a few things. I I think it was supposed to be like it was basically a dehumidifier. So what it does is it pulls water out of the air. Okay. We're supposed to design one. And they have certain constraints in physics, right? And what they can do. And so all these students are designing, like drawing all these idiot drawings of things that can't possibly work. Like you can't possibly, it's just, let me just leave it at that. Like none of these things are remotely plausible. You might as well be drawing like lollipops and unicorns jumping over rainbows. And so I just stopped drawing. I'm like, done. And everybody's drawing. The teacher got on my case, and I look around. I'm like, okay, mine is viable. This is what it can be. We're working within the constraints of reality. And I looked around. I said, with respect, none of the concepts a single student in this class is drawing right now is even physically viable. And the teacher got on my case and was like, well, the thing about industrial designers is it makes us that we don't know. And then the engineers have to. I'm like, no. You're an idiot.
You see, the architect and the engineer should go back to being the same job. Like it's like, or like it should go back to being the same job. It's like, okay, I want the building to look like this. That you can't do that, man. Like that's
yeah. There was a time engineers could make prettier things. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I think it was when they stopped working with their hands and actually building things in real life. I think when they start getting behind a computer, that's when everything got ugly.
Also, communists, to be honest, communists in the weird.
Now, you have a point. After World War II, as an example, the CIA destroyed fine art in the United States with the Museum of Modern Arts and I can't remember the other group, but they surreptitiously backed every artist from like William de Kooning to Jackson Pollock to use it as a social soft. It
was like, look, what culture? And I was like, that doesn't make us look cultured.
No, they're supposed to look, America's so free. So they weaponize degenerate art of people that were garbage to let them not even know. And America is still suffering the effects of things like that, which is just it's shocking and it's horrible. But you are right about communism. And brutalism and just the absurdities that came out of like the Frankfurt School and Bauhaus.
I've worked as a stonemason and I've done like every type of facade you can imagine. But my favorite facade to ever do was like when we redid this, and this wasn't like a nice like farmhouse built by a master stonemason. This was like a farm built, but it was still prettier than 90% of the things I built over the years. Huh. And like just sitting there, it's very calming. Actually, people who say repointing is hard. Like, no, it's very calming knocking out mortar with your well, you use a hammer drill now, but sometimes
pointing brick. You mean?
Yeah. Well, stone.
Yeah. I see stone. Forgive me.
Yeah, I am a technically journeyman stone. I'm not a master carpenter yet, but I'm a journeyman technically carpenter and stonemason.
Okay, cool.
But you're 100% right because like. Especially with these data centers, like even if you look at like even things that were made for industrial use back in the day, like industrial warehouses, they're still built, like they're still pretty. Like old warehouses are still built that they have some like architectural appeal.
In the past, yeah.
That is such a mechanical engineering thing, filing your nails with a
metal file.
Yeah, I've seen so many.
I was trying to hide it, but yeah, I'm just sitting in my garage.
Yeah.
It works good though. I mean, it's works.
Look, it does work good. Like, why buy a nail file when you already have?
What am I, a chick?
like it's like when people say it's like when you gouge.
That looks pretty good for a mechanic, man.
Well, my hands look like they've gone through the ringer several times.
Yeah.
And people was like, you have soft hands for carpenters. Like, it's called work gloves and moisturizing. The whole rough hand things is just that carpenters don't understand the concept of taking care of the skin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I lost you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you are. You dropped out for a second.
Yeah, it happens on occasion. But as I've always said, that this podcast always devolves into shooting the shit towards the end.
That's cool. That's fun. I mean, it's real life. The fact here, I tell you this. So while running for office, I did all kinds of different media. Oh my golly. And one of the things that made me felt like a poor animal rescued from the shelter, is I'd go into these doggone media things, whether it was radio or a podcast or news. I had no idea what to expect. It's like walking into an old west saloon. You don't know if you're going to get greeted by a madame, or you'd like there'd be shooting going on or whatnot. And it was wild. It was wild. And the thing about it is, I understand the nature of the time we live in now is it's all about clickbait and headlines, because that's about all you need to propagandize people anymore. But there were people that would miss out on just having realistic conversations. And I remember a few like smaller podcasts that are just, I'll just say, super duper MAGA. And it was amazing because they literally treated me worse than leftist media did. And I thought there was something really wrong with that, being an actual conservative and Republican voter, and even Trump voter in the past, albeit I'm not real pleased with him in the last year or so. Um, it was crazy, and there's just so much more could have been gained, even if it was short, by just talking reasonably. In fact, I kind of just had this thought now, so forgive me for kind of just riffing. Um, so many politicians are just politicians. They can only be polished. They never can turn it off. They can't be real. I wonder if talking heads could start weaponizing being chill and regular to politicians, to where it makes it obvious from the contrast that it's a complete put on. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Tucker Carlson's laugh is not just a silly laugh, it's a weapon. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. That's nothing against him, it's just reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's just disarming people by just normally talking. Yeah, the guy who helped develop the FBI's interrogation techniques, who was a former SS colonel, said that's actually how you get people to say things that they don't want to
Or
say.
you laugh, or
No, you just talk normally, and you just get people like talking, and that's what this whole thing. Like people just like people get bored and just want to talk about things. So you just, instead of like torturing people, you just talk. It's the same way as an enhanced interrogation doesn't work 90% of the time, because people will just you do anything to make the pain stop, instead of like you just like being nice to someone, bring them like snacks or food, and they'll eventually start talking to you, just giving you information they shouldn't.
oh, I see. That's interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe the
Yeah, I mean,
better podcasters will start being a little more reasonable nowadays.
no, see, look, I've had left wing people on my podcast. I've had people I don't fully agree with on my podcast on certain issues, and I'm always calm with them. Except when I have my co-hosts, we're constantly arguing about like it would be a bit more contentious if he was here, but he's busy
What
because,
he likes putting the edge in.
well, no, he just likes to argue with me about every point, specifically
Oh,
on the Russia-Ukrainian conflict. That's always been
ah,
a point of conflict with us. But he told me he's very busy being a plumber after I mean it's very, I mean, he said on the podcast that he's a humanities major, and I told him that was dumb to do that, and he said, I don't care. It's like, you have 3 master's degrees and you can't get a job.
libraries are free.
Or no, like if you want to know obscure facts about Russian history, uh theological matters, or poli sci, he's your guy. But it's
Yes.
like, dude, you have a family, you're married. Like, my co-host is more normal than I am. I mean, that's kind of, I see the downfall of these podcasting networks. They surround themselves with more and more yes men, and my co-hosts, whenever yes men. I like people
Yeah.
who disagree with me. But yeah,
Yeah.
I generally think being chill and reasonable really throws people off. I mean, people in psychology would call that the gray stone method of dealing with like
Hmm.
people who are disingenuous. You like you like, oh yeah, yeah, but yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Um, I have to try that someday. You know. Uh,
Oh no, it works really well. Like like if you don't engage with their nonsense, you just keep repeating your point when they're trying to derail you.
Well, I did in fact do that a few times, with media, the absurdities of it. I remember there was one woman. I'm not saying she's a bad woman, but her name was Karen, which is kind of funny. She's like, "Do you identify as a white nationalist?" And I'm like, and in my head, I'm thinking, "Are we really doing this?" And I said, "Well, I'm white, and nationalist just means that you prefer your country over other ones. So why are you asking me that question?" You know what I mean? I just broke it down to how absurd it is, and then put it right back on. She said, "I wonder if you identify that." I'm like, "I identify as a Buckeye." And I knew what she was doing, so I'm not going to play her stupid game. Um, but it's funny because she kind of like smirked at me slightly, going like, "I didn't think you'd be able to to defeat me there." But I got to the point with these media people with all these dumb gotcha questions and things. They want to corral you to make you be something of infamy in one way or another. I just won't play this stupid game. I just
Well,
won't play
yeah,
it.
you're doing what the former prime minister, the man who's prime minister of Indonesia, did when people asked him about executing drug traffickers. He just kept saying, "It's like, so how many drug traffickers have you executed?" He's like, "Well, there's a lot of rewards for you." Just keep just like flipping the question on them because
Mm,
they're not like journalists. To be honest, journalists are very stupid people. Like they're really the scum of society, and they've always been viewed that way. Like your average journalist is just a sad, pathetic loser being paid 80,000 to 50, doing
sure.
literally nothing besides licking corporate boot.
Yeah, there was I don't want to be mean and pinpoint, but there was one journalist whom I spoke to a couple of times. Um, and it's just such bullshit. They just wanted to lure you into a place, and I wouldn't do it. And frankly, when their news pieces came out, I was laughing at it the whole time. Like I was genuinely laughing. I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, um, and it's sad. It's so sad because I thought to myself, if this person did the slightest amount of digging or journalism, they could have had something that actually mattered or hit harder or anything. But it is just such low brow, lowest common denominator, just idiocy. That there's a reason why the news is like dead. You
Well,
know?
I mean, doing actual journalism requires these people to leave the house, and these people, when they shoot an AR-15, like bruise their shoulders, and it scares them. So, like,
Yeah.
they like if they would have to do like a journalism on, like, let's say a small town that has like an influx of white nationalists, they could be going around like, ugh. I mean, I
White
would
nationalists. You mean white people that have an American flag on their porch? Look out.
no. I mean, look. As someone who has friends who identify actually as
No,
national
I
social,
understand. I just
yeah,
I
I know, but
understand. I'm just
like who I identify. I mean, I'm not a national socialist, but like who identifies national socialist. These people don't get it that most people who you call Nazi, who are Nazis, don't care that you call them Nazis. Like they're like, you're a Nazi. It's like, okay, like, but
I know.
people don't like being called what they're not. Like according to the only person who's the only, and I feel personally attacked, Casey, because no one has ever had the balls to say anything nasty about this podcast. And besides this one specifically woman who is like this orthodox left wing academic who said, I called for a group of her to be purged from the Orthodox Church, which I meant to say was excommunicated.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But she that I mean, I for like 3 days, I'm like, why is my Twitter blowing up? It's like why is like every person adding me? I'm like, oh,
I get
okay.
it.
So
Well,
so
yeah. No,
okay.
I get it. And forgive, I just wanted to say something. So regarding the white nationalist topic, um, the fact that this is a big taboo thing, that's like, oh my God, a white nationalist. Okay,
This is a
so
white
so
Protestant
I'm sorry,
country.
there's white people that like being white Christians that like their country. oh, look out, society might be nice. But we've all been psyoped into oblivion. The public has been conditioned to hate ourselves. Um, so no, so forgive me. I wasn't trying to downplay it or circumvent anybody. It was just that I was trying to just make it normal to be freaking white and proud that I'm going to say another couple of things, and if anybody doesn't like it, I don't care. Can you name me all the third world countries that are white?
Ukraine is no. I've had friends who went to Ukraine before the war. It was a nice place to live. Like even the poor white countries are still nicer than the richest third world countries.
Correct. Kind of point some things out. It's like who is it that went to the moon? Who is it that invented the jet engine? Who is it that invented the automobile? Who is it that built Europe and the United States?
Well, mainly Protestants, but Catholics get kind of angry when you say that they're subversives.
Well, I just
I mean,
just giving a little credit to our own people.
Yeah, I mean this is a white Protestant country based off Anglo-Saxon views on justice, republicanism. I mean, look, this is technically a monarchist podcast. Like, contra republic means in Latin against the republic. I'm not a republicanist, as in because like, so you're not a republican, as in no republicanist, or someone who believes in democracy. It's like I don't get what you. So you're not a Democrat or a Republican. It's like does anybody get what terms mean?
No, they don't. They don't. People don't even know what a primary is in voting because they'll say things like he's just there to split the vote. I'm like, how? There's something called a primary.
That's not how that. Well, the Fox News machine told him so.
I know. Yeah, it's ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah, I would say that. Like,
they say
yeah,
that.
That is 100% true. Like before I started actually taking my health more seriously, I'm getting a bit older now. You go to the doctor and like you don't go to the doctor for like 5 years and you don't feel any negative things. Like I'm great. It's like
yeah.
Truly, ignorance is bliss, and like the people who don't realize that our country is being stolen by the worst group of combination of scam artists, grifters, and just psychopaths. Like these people wonder why no one wants data centers or try to like invest in AI. And you just look at these AI guys and like these CEOs, and they act like cartoon villains, and they wonder why people want to shoot them. Like Sam Altman acts like a really bad parody of Cobra Commander. I mean, that's kind of insulting to Cobra Commander because at least Cobra Commander has like an aesthetic to him.
I know. Sam Altman, Alex Karp, Peter Thiel. I mean, these guys, look, I'm no psychologist, but they got to be pretty high on the scale of psychopathy.
Oh yeah, these people are like people's like, well, we need Palantir to like help.
No, we don't.
We don't.
We don't need it at all.
It's like it's someone who actually understands how these things work. It's really easy to find illegal immigrants. Just go behind the Home Depot in Philadelphia and just have it. Look, I'm just saying, if you put me in charge of deportations, you just all
it's kind of like finding human and child traffickers. Just go to Planned Parenthood.
You go. Yeah, and as someone who's had problems getting healthcare or I've seen like people who are working class struggle to get healthcare. And then to see these people like just take advantage of the system. Like I've seen people who can't like go to work and they have to like watch their kids for them because they can't afford daycare. They can't afford to live.
Yeah.
And it disgusts me really, but
I know, I really do. That's why I did what I did the last 6 months.
Yeah, and I thank you for doing it. I thank people like Brandon.
Thank you.
People like Brandon Herrera, and I hope you continue running for office. I hope one day
we'll see.
I mean, I mean, too many people like fail the first time and then give up running for office again. I mean, look, if Joe Biden can fail to run for president, be like Sleepy Uncle Joe. He failed to run for president for 40 years before he was conveniently
That's funny.
installed.
That's funny, yeah. Um, and I'm not even sure if the Joe Biden we ended up with was the Joe Biden we started with. Um, it it's also
I
funny,
mean, to
isn't
be
it?
honest about Joe and him being a bit weird, but he seems like from what people I know who've actually met Bush or like Biden, they say they're really fun to hang out with.
I believe it. Yeah. You
Like,
said Bush. I mean, George W. They made fun of him like crazy for so-called being stupid when he was in. But honestly, man, when I later saw a video of him running for office, that dude was funny.
well, yeah. See, Bush is a psychotic neocon, but Bush is like,
Well, I'm not backing him up. I'm just saying the guy had some
he
charisma.
is funny. Like Bush is funny. Like he is funny, and like he is actually smart. He's a former Skull and Bones member. Like George W. Bush is like probably the greatest actor of the 20th century because he had everyone think he's like, yeah, I'm actually just a wacky dude. That I'm not doing
I'm a
anything.
funny Texas guy. Watch me hit this golf swing.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Uh, I mean that's the whole thing. Why honestly, I think Vivek is going to ultimately lose Damie Acton. Is Vivek isn't funny or charming.
No,
He's actually
he's
the
not.
opposite. He's very
He's a
he's very
smarmy, top lofty. Yeah.
like
Nope.
he's just nasty. Like when people's like, well, if Amy Acton wins, like nothing's going to happen. The Republicans control the House and the Senate of Oklahoma.
Ohio.
Ohio. Sorry, I get
That's
those
okay.
confused. I know. I know I shouldn't confuse the state that borders mine, but
That's
I mean
okay. Starts with
I
an O.
think I mean I think it's really an issue. I mean, I see it as an issue is Trump interfering with like the primary system because we had a really good governor candidate in Lou Barletta in 2022. Great candidate, had a lot of name recognition, and Trump gave the I can't even Doug. I think Doug Mastriano was the guy he backed, and Mastriano was a freaking idiot. And Trump just seems to back these people. Not all of them are terrible. That are legitimately stupid. Who he happens to be friends with. I mean, we know why he got the nomination.
Well, I know. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
he's friends with JD Vance. Him and Vance knew each other from college.
I know.
They probably both did
JD's son is named Vivek.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, people's like, yeah, JD Vance 2028. It's like, I will not even remote. I will vote for anybody
No,
else in the primaries. It's like, like Trump picked the worst second running mate. Like, honestly,
I agree.
anybody,
I just yeah.
like,
I yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't see JD Vance as being anything other than Peter Thiel's puppet, who used to be
Well,
a Silicon Valley
people get angry. It's like, well, I'm not taking money from Peter Thiel. It's like, look, if you people always talk about having these right wing Patreon networks, but just admit it if you're like taking money from people connected to Thiel, because like, there's nothing wrong with people right wing billionaires supporting supposed right wing candidates, but be honest about like, yeah, I get money from this guy, I get
You know,
money.
question regarding Peter Thiel. Is it true that that clavicular guy stopped a live stream because Peter Thiel called him on his cell phone? I heard that the other day.
Yeah. Thiel is giving him money.
That kind
Fucking
of makes
weirdo.
sense. So it seems like that and potentially others is they're trying to find people to hold young men and society back because that's the only thing that serves, in my opinion.
Well, look, all those people are just weirdos, and honestly, honestly, I look forward to the day that not that I support violence, that someone just bashes these really stupid people's head in because they go like someone like Cavlicchio is gonna piss off like the wrong guy at a bar, and he's just gonna get his head slammed into the counter repeatedly. Like,
It's possible.
but I'm gonna be honest, looks maxing and caring about what other men think of you is really gay.
Gay.
Is really, really
Yeah, yeah.
fucking gay. Like it is the
That's
gay.
gay.
Like look maxers are basically the equivalent of trannies. They're just male trannies who aren't going to cut their dicks off.
Huh. Never thought about that way. I don't think
Yeah,
about it too much because it's kind of
it's
it's like, dude,
gross.
look, I'm balding. Okay,
Well, no,
so
you
this is what the founding fathers look like. Okay, this is what the rulers of Europe look like. I don't care. What are you gonna you're gonna say I look bad because I look like George Washington's shiny bald forehead? I don't
what
care.
these people like to
I have a
say.
wife and a life. I don't.
These people like to say physiognomy check, but if you look at like some of the rulers of like great rulers of Europe, they like Alexander the Great's father, Philip II of Macedon. He was really ugly. Like the end of his life, his face was really scarred up. And look, Alexander the Great was wounded several times battle. His face was probably pretty fucked up towards the end of his campaigns. Like,
Yeah, dude.
getting hit in the face, like someone who's gotten hit in the face several times or has scars all over his body from workplace.
Oh, I've been punched in the face.
Yeah,
More
but
people need to get punched in the face in their life. I think we'd all be better off. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
well, yeah, like every man eventually needs to be involved in some sort of like barroom brawl.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
But
do.
but sadly, you'll get arrested for that. We need to break. Honestly, cops when they break up a barroom brawl, is like, look, you're all idiots. You're all going to jail. We're gonna release you in the morning. You are all stupid.
Yeah, yeah. I said about the Groypers. I'm like, we should do a movie where all the Nick Fuentes and the Groypers get sent back to 1985, have to go to school and make it. And somebody commented back, they're like, it's already been done. And they showed like I think Revenge of the Nerds movie poster. I'm like, touche.
Well, these people wouldn't even survive the 1990s because, like, these
No,
people couldn't even survive like a Call of Duty 2000, like a Halo 3 chat room. Like most of these
oh,
people
dude.
these days, like the amount of times, like the those were the golden days. Ah, damn. That's that that
Well,
that.
it was an analog world.
Well, yeah, I mean back before Discord, everyone would say, like, every racial slur in the book. I used to play Halo with a Korean kid who just like, ah, good times.
Yeah. Yeah, different time. Well, sir,
Well,
I'm gonna need to get going here pretty soon. Do you have some things you might like to hit on still?
uh, nah, I went. To be honest, Casey, I ran out of topics like a good
It's okay.
hour and a half, like good like hour ago. So
Okay.
I really ran out of things to talk about, and
All right. Well, thanks for
uh,
chatting with me. I mean, I
yeah.
appreciate you noticing some of the absurdity of the attacks of people
Look,
online and
look,
X.
I've just been around the political space so long, like not as like someone who's big, but someone who's seen all these people and like, and I've also been, Casey. Grew up in a very abusive household and
Hmm.
been around manipulative people, so I know the patterns of like these people are like abusive mothers or spouses or just people who are very manipulative. I've also been around just quote a Skyrim quote, criminal scum, and these
Hmm.
people move the same way as criminal scum.
Yeah, I can only relate to so much of that, but I've run up against a fair amount of sociopaths, psychopaths, the Machiavellian ones, the dark triads,
I,
and the
I mean,
variations of them. They're not pleasant. They're not
I wouldn't
pleasant.
even say the Machiavelli. It's a really very homosexual form of Machiavellianism. Like Machiavelli wouldn't
Hmm.
even spin these people's faces because what they do isn't even
Well,
Machiavellian. It's just they all have not gotten over being being like being in high school. They all think this like it's like very high school s drama.
hmm. I saw something on X that clearly came from it was like an AI thing made that now all they're going to support Amy Acton, the Democrat. And so they made her out to be like this, like big boobed kind of like mommy figure that's hot. I'm like watching this. I'm like, this is creepy. These are like odd young men who've never gotten laid that have mommy issues. I don't know what's going on this election.
Hey,
I was actually
hey,
thinking,
hey.
I think I'm glad I'm out. I don't understand what's going
Yeah,
on.
you need they look. Let's just say like my generation had access on restricted access to some of a lot of things we shouldn't have when we were.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean,
Fair.
as a young man who is not, well, I don't believe in sex outside of marriage, but that's, I'll freely admit I do have issues with my abusive mother. You know, as a, but unlike these people, I don't pathologize it. I realize that dwelling on these things and just being consumed by these things, just it tends to turn you into a nasty person. Like, I'll give you an example, Casey. Like when I got out of that doctor's office today, it's like, you are good. We don't like, you do not have cancer. I'm like, I felt, I felt, I've been feeling really down past few months. And I was like, wow, that puts a lot of things in perspective that you have, like when you have a cancer scale, you think you might die and you turn out to be fine. You're like, well, I'm okay with, I'm happy about life and I
Yes.
feel better. And like, you won't really know what it is to be alive until you have something like that happen, or you've been somewhere where you've been somewhere where you get over that feeling, you move past it, or like when you, I guess, well, I haven't had kids, but like when I see some of my friends who walk on the first kid, just like the happiness and joy, like things like that. I mean, my nephew, when I first started teaching him to stack blocks and I taught him to open doors, like, you never like when you see the beauty of just a child laughing with not a care in the world, and they're like, well, you're running after them, like, get back here, put your pants back on. You like, did you like to try to like wrangle a small child,
It-
like just like stop acting like a fool, and you're kind of laughing because it's silly. Like people get mad
I
about like,
understand.
I mean
I
that may
understand.
sound, I mean, maybe people might
No, I
clip that.
understand. I was just no. Yeah, who knows what people do? No, I understand being a dad and like the silliness of others and the silliness of children. Um, in some ways, humor on the internet can have parallels to the silliness in that way. But at the same time, too, everybody sees it,
Well,
and sometimes people are like,
no, what I'm
what
talking
is going
about
on?
more is like the joy these things bring to you. Like there's nothing. This is, I think more. This is what we are fighting to defend. Like so, children can
Oh,
laugh and play and be safe, and you can have those moments.
fair. Yeah,
We
fair.
will, and I think a lot of these people, like these overly online people, they lack like good relationships with their like families or like their nephews, or like just if you see like the joy, like the simple joy on a child's face when you're like stacking blocks with them, or the simple joy of like making funny faces at,
Fair. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
and
I,
you see that and you like, you don't want to say like horrible things about people's kids or make these
mm,
weird posts like, wait, this is weird. I have like nephews. Why am I doing this? Like you think more of that, especially after like you have a big scare. You're like, it's thank God I'm gonna be okay. I don't know what my nephew would think if I wasn't there anymore and didn't see me. It's like you the way like people like you don't realize the impact you're having on other people, like in their
yes.
lives, and they miss you, or like what you're saying. You should think about like what you say a lot more about like these weird things you post, because how would like the person who's like your aunt think about this, like just the normal people in your life who aren't overly political, who are just like trying to get that day to day, think about these things, and
Fair.
would they look at you differently if they knew you were posting this?
Well, yeah, fair. And then the other thing is, which is a whole nother thing, is like, would you have the courage to post this if you were posting under your real name?
I'll be honest, I would post, me personally, it's not even that I'm really afraid of posting under my real full name. It's
And
that
I
I
wasn't
just,
speaking of just you. I just meant that as a
in
general
general, yeah, in
statement.
general, like people's like, you never say this thing to my face. Like, okay. I mean, there's one thing I do find funny about Matt Forney, and is him like, here's my address. Come on, fight me. Or did you see did you see that one journalist trying to fight Jim Acosta? That was funny.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, what is his name? Matt Taibbi tried to fight Jim Acosta.
Oh,
Do you, yeah, like Jim Acosta uh, offered to fight him, and they showed up, and I would have paid to see that, because I Casey, personally, I think there needs to be a lot more brawling on the right. You know, a lot more like, okay, fuck you. Meet me in the parking lot. Meet me. Okay, let's meet in the parking. Let's settle this like
yeah.
men.
Yep.
I
No, I
mean,
understand.
I look, if I if I had Elon Musk money, I would have paid him like, look, $2 million to between Casey and Vivek, 4 rounds.
Oh, I would have happily dueled him.
Yeah, but I'll let you go, man. Take care of your kids and your pregnant wife. I know that as someone who has a lot of siblings and had to deal with my pregnant mother a lot, so I know that's so hard. So I'll see you later. Thank you, Casey, for coming on.
No, I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you tell
I
people where you? Sorry, can you tell people where you can find you?
Oh, just search my name. You can find me. I'm Casey Putsch on X, Casey the Car Guy on YouTube, Casey Putsch on Instagram. Of course, the campaign social medias are over with, as is the campaign. But I'll still be around to some extent.
Okay. Thank you for coming on.
I'm honored. No, genuinely, thank you. It was a fun conversation.
Okay. Thank you.